Yes, the Miitopia Nuzlocke, the most overdone challenge of all time. You would think my rerun of this challenge would be the end of my adventure with this challenge, but, yeah, no. I wanted this one last time. Not for proving anything or shitting on my idiotic self, but instead, for fun. I decided to make my Miis randomized this time around. This means I have to randomly select the order of which my Miis are in, which means I won't even be the main character, most likely. I also have to randomly select the personalities, which doesn't really matter in the long run. And of course, most importantly of all, the jobs, which can make or break the run. I could get Flower or fucking Warrior. On top of that, every grub session must be randomized and no horse for the sake of preventing horse whispering spam. I could just not level up my relationship with the horse, but I still think it would provide too good of an advantage for my liking. If you want to see my team draws, I recommend checking out the playlist in the description below. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, here it is, my team. My protagonist is Red Link, which is fitting because he was always the protagonist in my playthroughs before I decided to use Pokemon60 as the user and mascot of this channel. He will be a cautious cleric for now, and joining him will be Nigel the laid-back chef, Patrick the kind mage, and Miitopia the kind pop star. Yeah, I got an unlucky drawing. My guest stars from the OG Nuzlocke are here so early. I wanted it to be a surprise later on, but I guess not. But I thought this team was actually good on paper due to the jobs, but I was wrong. The early game quickly showed that my damage is absolutely terrible. I even struggled with this fucking butterfly, and 3-shot both of us so it was doing big damage while we had to heal often, so we really couldn't hurt it. And this wasn't like any other butterfly fight, because at least I usually have a me that has good damage, like a cool warrior or a mage, but I just didn't. But my headache didn't even end there, because I struggled on normal fights with Team Cumulus just before the mouse. So I did a bit of prep before the fight, and it paid off. It was still scary, don't get me wrong, with its huge smash damage, but I still feel like I still killed it decently fast. Even though the rock had tougher side enemies and was immediately after the last fight, I literally only bought Mudkip a megaphone due to my funds. It was even easier than the mouse somehow, due to some good RNG, but I also think it's because my team got some level ups in between. But my dumbass wasn't convinced by my river deep dominance, so I used adding tickets to prepare for the next boss, and it paid off so hard. Me and Patrick were at level 3 relationship, but increasing out to 6 led to a praise turn 1 and loads of lend hands throughout the fight. Needless to say, the imp got bodied, even with its concerning damage output. Then, after visiting the castle and over-prepping a lot due to me not wanting to have Mudkip and hate Patrick in the fight, trust me, I know how awful Tut is, but because of that, the golem was way easier even if it still 2-tagged me and Nigel. Nigel was also cooking in this fight, landing some nice flicky damage, unusually focused flambés. And after more stalling, because I wanted Nigel to get some actual fucking armor, but I just couldn't, so it seems like Munchkin and Patrick are gonna have to tank a lot, which wasn't very awesome for this Griffin fight. He was targeting me and Nigel a lot, and combine that with 3 turns of attacking from him, you're looking at a really scary fight here, even with its underwhelming HP. Like seriously, half of it vanished somehow, but luckily I killed it while still having a good amount of sprinkles left. And funnily enough, Nigel got all the way up to the Outlandish gear before the Naughty Imp. Like, what the fuck? Speaking of which, the Naughty Imp was pretty easy besides me risking Mudkip's life like an actual idiot. That is the only reason why I decided to include this fight. Anyways, after climbing the tower, it's time to fight the general. And let's just say I finally got my ass kicked from this fight. It's high damage, nearly one-shots Red Link, and even the rest of the team still takes a lot of damage from every turn. The run should have ended here twice, but Patrick's kind quirk popped right before the general killed Red Link. But of course, it wouldn't be fair if the general didn't take a life. I left Nigel out with 10 HP, thinking that he would have his turn to home cooking himself, but I was wrong. And the general quickly slapped us with an AoE attack, killing Nigel on the spot. And of course, I can't revive him, because only uncontrollable arrives will be allowed in this run. So that basically meant I had to beat the fight without one of my prized gems? Yeah. And I barely even did so, because reminder, his damage output is insane and I don't have 2 healers anymore. So yeah, the general fight finally screwed me over after such a long time of it being so free. If that doesn't show my unluckiness, I don't know what will. I guess it's kinda karma from the Microsprinkle Combo Rise from the OG Nuzlocke, where I revived Nigel at the Darkest Lord because of that stupid rule. Anyways, we begrudgingly went through the rest of Greenhorn, and now it's time for a new team and job. So my team is pretty interesting in Neksdor. I rolled the best job in the game for Red Link, so I was thrilled, and then Boldy for a new chef was cool, and Toe was even better as a cleric teammate. But I kinda got Chef again for Link, so that wasn't so awesome. And as for personalities, I got another Kind Me and Boldy, an Energetic Toad, and a Stubborn Link. But now, let's boss fight. The Minotaur surprised me, but I still decided to send it, and it went well. His first attack had me thinking otherwise because it was the AoE one, but that was the only time he used it. And thanks to my insane healing, insane damage from Red Link, the boss wasn't all that bad. The Cobra was also quite easy for the same reasons, it's just that he finally decided to find some damn blue Cobras for the first time, which was annoying, but it didn't make the fight too much harder. And now it was time for some good old revenge on this painting, for some personal reasons, and I sure as hell got it. He couldn't do much damage to me and Toad, surprisingly, for him, but I think it's because of his insane set. But Poldy and Link were on the weaker side, but it was still fine because of my insane healing. I barely used any sprinkles, and it was just a clear boss fight. I also have some beef against some other painting. Would history repeat itself? Let's just say fate was not in the favor here. Toad is my second teammate and is a cleric and has the exact same set and is one lower level. And if you remember the OG Nuzlocke, we were in the exact same circumstances. It's just that Toad was level 10 and Toad died in this exact same fight in the OG Nuzlocke. So safe to say I was kind of scared, but it wasn't that bad. It hurt a lot more than the last painting, and the AoE does reasonably less. But it was still in exchange for some absolute nukes of single target damage, particularly when the Mii stares at the painting. But of course with my insane healing output, it wasn't all that awful, even if I used way more sprinkles on this fight compared to the last painting. And now it was the Sword and Shield, and it was quite simple. Even though the combo attacks hurt, it was manageable due to our heals and good bulk. Not much else to say. And now, the Pharaoh surprisingly gave me absolutely no trouble, which was a huge break from like every single other run I've done, and especially the other two Nuzlocks, where I had to 3-teammate the Pharaoh. I still had to be careful, but all my team was quite bulky, and even with the monster armor, the Pharaoh can't really touch Red Link at all. And now that we've reached the end of a surprisingly easy world, I've gotten my revenge on the two paintings and did this world deathless, finally. And now, Realm of the Fae's team is quite interesting. Obviously, I got quite unlucky with my Mii being a pop star and another fucking kind chef in Kirby. Seriously, why does Chef love me so much in this playthrough? A third of my possible job spins were fucking Chef, and of course I got another repeat in pop star, which isn't that bad, but it could have been better. And of course, the one good teammate I have left is the last one, meaning that they will be underpowered throughout the world, which sucks so bad. I'm thankful that this is happening in fucking Realm of the Fae, because if it was in any other world, we would have been absolutely fucked. Anyways, I don't actually have Toon Link for the first boss, but it's all good. The best way to describe this fight is basically saying it was an easier version of the Griffin. It did big damage, but it didn't have much HP to back it up. But I think that's because Red Link got praised and did a shit ton of damage, so yeah. The Owl, however, was on the scarier side, even with the team assembled. Kirby and Toon Link aren't all that bulky yet, so me and Red Link had to tank a lot. But still, it wasn't too bad. Toon Link's health was easy to manage, and Kirby did pretty good. But even the dumb status damage still absolutely mortified me. But luckily, he didn't bother to hit Kirby with it. I believe he only hit Red Link with the status up. He might have hit me as well, so that was odd. Anyways, moving on to the next boss, and it was the Witch Slime, which was really fucking easy. I thought it would do more damage, but it basically didn't do that much damage at all. So we just got to shred. Yeah, not much. The Tomato Bros showed how awful Imp AI can be sometimes. Toon Link didn't set up a single Sweet Whispers until it was too late and the boss was basically dead. Besides that, it was just Witch Slime 2, besides me having to look out for the tomato juice on Toon Link because his HP still isn't that high. The butterfly scared the living shit out of me, and for good reasons, because even if my team can tank magic well, the AoE did about the same to everyone, but Toon Link locked in and Sweet Whisper turned run, while Red Link got praised, so let's just say the boss stood no chance. But if I got unlucky here, I'm almost certain we would have been in a lot of trouble. And then we're finally at the frog. It was almost a lackluster end to the world, not too much damage, Toon Link locked in again, and I prepped for the Stink Breath. But I did not prep for the second one, because my face was up my ass thinking the fight would end. Toon Link and Kirby were fine because I healed them a bit, but Red Link got to 11 and my Mii survived at 3 HP. I knew I was a tank, but holy crap, this scared the shit out of me. Luckily I was right and one simple glitch killed the boss. Also, fun fact, Red Link is the only one who doesn't have armor that is exactly one stage below them on right now. I don't know how the other 3 managed to be in such hideous armors at this fight, but they somehow did, so I got to use actual good-looking armor sets that have actual color optimization. I know it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but that was one of the biggest smile fates of my lifetime when that second stink breath came down. But luckily, we've made it to the end, and this team surpassed my expectations. Team Link wasn't too expected by the final teammate syndrome, and the rest of my team was built out of fucking titanium or something. Holy fuck, everyone was so bulky. And now it's time for Karkaton to save one of the fellows. I'm sorry that you had to watch that boss clip like 3 times in a row. So I'll just go straight to the paint cloud with Mudkip, because if I actually struggle on Magma Slime with a job I've done it so many times with, let's just say you wouldn't be able to see any of the footage for this run because my Switch would be broken. Anyways, the paint cloud caused pain because it hurts like hell, even to my tanky team. Yes, food buffs make scientists bulky, if that wasn't evident by now. But unfortunately, Great Sage cannot be my healer because he only heals if someone's in the red, which means I had to rely on sprinkles until I couldn't, which happened too short for my liking. But after a lot of safe slot pivots, I finally beat the damn boss. Burning Golem was surprisingly easier. Sure, I had to be more careful with its huge damage output, but thanks to the addition of Link, I had another healer and another tank to get punched. It was still scary and took a while, but it's most comparable to the last fight, so I don't need to repeat myself. Ah shit, the time has come. I'm not sure if you've noticed yet, but a clock has been ticking ever since the start of Realm of the Fae. One rule I haven't mentioned yet is how the protagonist's job will be decided. Instead of being stuck with the Realm of the Fae job, I figured we'd spin a Wheel of Fate. I have 3 options. Warrior, my favorite and reliable job for nuzlocks. Scientist, a really good job that would be a hell of an experience. Or Cleric, a frail job that is awful for the protagonist to have, because they can't res a teammate, and plus, I've never played the supporting role of a Cleric. If you watch my Cleric mono job run, you'll see that I was a battle Cleric. I had a 33% chance to be fucked, and a 66% chance to keep the run alive. If this wheel says Cleric, let's just say the run can be over. So I spun the wheel and closed my eyes. And then this was all for nothing because the wheel went straight for the side that had 2 good jobs on it, and it barely landed on Warrior. Which is awesome, but Scientist would have been fun as hell. Anyways, we now have a big dog to kill. Cerberus was kinda interesting. While the only attack that did significant damage was the bite, the boss attacks 3 times per turn, so the damage stacks up over time, even with Link here. But luckily, thanks to Sweet Whispers and Purple Coke, this boss isn't that bad, but my sprinkles running out towards the end was pretty damn scary. Which is a good word to describe the demon fight. The side enemies were actually challenging here. They hurt like hell and don't help when the demon is doing insane damage along with them. I had to use so many sprinkles and safe spot limit the fuck out of this fight until all imps died. Once they died, I was able to use the combo of Sweet Whispers and Hyper Sprinkles and manage the damage, so not too bad after that point. Also, holy fuck, I'm a rapper. Manage the damage? Well, the study of myself did absolutely no damage to everyone except Boldy. In fact, as you can tell, Boldy is fucking dead. But there's a reason why I brought Toad to this fight. I just had a small feeling I would do something stupid, and oh wow, something stupid happened. Luckily, there was enough time for Toad to revive Boldy, so we're all good. I kinda didn't record footage for this fight. I'm too lazy to go back to Miitopia. Actually, I can't even go back into Miitopia because it wouldn't save the battle. Because that was so long ago. Whatever. Anyways, the armor was a break due to my totally fair strategy being back in business. Rolling Hyper plus Sweet Whispers is just too good for the armor to handle. Even with its huge damage with combo attacks, me and Link packed some big punches. Hooray, footage! The dragon was just as typical. It doesn't do that much damage, but it stacks up over time with your MP and HP running low. Luckily, I both have Panacea and Feast by now, so they were huge helps. I only had to worry about Link for this fight due to his low magic stat. And now it's time for the real run decider. Honestly, I should have saved the clock bit for this. This is the only group fiend fight you must fight in all of Miitopia. All the other ones are completely avoidable. So here's the plan. I bring Toad to revive the dead man and Boldy and Kirby. If one of them dies, we will be perfectly fine due to our insane death and chef. I entered the fight and shoved Toad in the safe spot, and hoped for anybody but Red Link. Ah, fuck off. Boldy gets damaged from Avenge and Toad tries to revive Red Link but fails. The clever imps attack and do bad damage. Things were looking awful, until I remembered Hyper Sprinkles. I gave them to the 2 remaining chefs awake and they killed the fiend quite fast. I just had to stall out both of their turns until Red Link was back, which happened on the very next try. That's right, we left the fight deathless and nowhere near as fucked as the last time. Holy fuck, how did I win rerun again? But the flaming wind still threatened to take a life. I'm almost certain one ass lighting would have killed Boldy or Kirby instantly, but insanely enough, they only did that to me and Toad, and the other two just got whacked instead. There was practically nothing between me and Dark Lord RNG now. Let's do this. I usually hide the fuck out of my Dark Lord fights and my Nuzlocks. Oh, it's the big bass Dark Lord, scary! Just for it to be absolutely no worries. This was the exact same way. I tried to speedrun the first phase with the wombo combo, which did happen before getting really lucky with the face steals, leaving Red Link and Toad, which was just awesome. Toad was healing all the tiny damage, and Red Link just kept whacking and whacking and whacking for a while until the Dark Lord was no more. And yes, this was how unarmored he is. I have no idea why this fucker named Red Link doesn't want armor, but whatever. Let's on to the Traveler's Hub. You know, I wrote a prediction saying that I will only discuss the burger, and I was semi-correct, because I want to say, fuck you, Jianjun, first. Anyways, time for the actual thing. The burger was kinda challenging. Two-shotting most of my Miis, and of course the Tut is now haunting Red Link this time, but it's a warrior instead of a mage, so I think we all know who's tanking the hit better, and it's not going to fucking die in this fight. But yeah, besides that, really smooth fight. Surprisingly enough, so I got my revenge for Pokemon GD. I'm kinda sad that this segment was so boring because I made Pokemon GD my Nimbus Mage and Derpy my Peculiar Cat. That sucks, but anyway. Oh shit, that happened! As I was going back through some Nimbus stages, I was kinda turning my brain off, and Bully was kinda fucking died while fighting Lizardmen. Now place your bets at who fucked up. Was it A, Red Link, B, myself as the player, C, Mimi, or D, Andre the Traveler's Hub scientist that I fucking hate? Oh wait, sorry for that one. Anyways, if you said D, you're right. Red Link unfortunately had to revenge kill one Lizardman, so that left one whom was slightly damaged. But it was somehow enough for Andre's dumbass to kill it before Toad even got a chance to try to revive Boldy. You know, I thought I was going to redeem my rerun deaths, but instead I decided to equal the same amount of them and make them even worse. Both deaths in rerun were pure chance. Darktube could have not studied the painting, or Pokemon GD could have not tutted. But these were so preventable. I could have just kept Nigel in the safe spot, or pay attention to the fucking game. So now I got a teammate, two teammate the hands again. Yippee! On to Skyscraper. Alright, this was kinda easy, but I'll still go over everything. Phantom Evil only used his rock attack once and didn't nightmare the right people, allowing the Wombo combo to succeed and shred him to pieces, despite his good damage. The Gold General and Golem fight ended in 3 fucking turns, with the Golem not even getting a single attack off. The difficult enemies to Pharaoh 2 were still scary, but it was surprisingly easier than I thought, just like the last time around. Pharaoh 2 itself was a pushover, and Red Frog was somewhat harder with the Stink Breath doing big damage, but I have a lot of sprinkles by now, so yeah. Skyscraper is always easy in my runs, and this was no exception. On to the Dark Lord fight. The left hand was really fucking easy. I know I benefited from myself avenging Boldy, but I say that the boss will die either way, so nobody cares. I will get that damage, and there's no way I'm losing to the left hand, considering my insane bulk to it. On the other hand, get it? Mike and Patrick don't do as much damage, and the right hand's damage output is actually really good, leading to a lot of safe spot turns because I lack a healer. Even then, it still wasn't that difficult, only requiring me to use some sprinkles to keep Mudkip alive. And then, the big finale fight, the Darkest Lord, was a complete joke, ending in just 4 turns. Even quicker than Rerun's Darkest. Yeah, I wish I could have had a less anticlimactic to this run, but this is what you get when you get lucky with your freaking jobs and craft a god team like this. There's not much you can do to prevent an utter destruction on this fight if you have the luck like I did. And, oh wait, I need some more cinematic value in this video. Oh, the Dark Curse trying to get me all along was motivation. I'll be honest, I didn't really have motivation to play this run after Karkaton. Traveler's Hub seriously is that boring. Even in Skyscraper, I was also demotivated. Because I knew by that point, nothing besides the hands would challenge me, and I was completely correct. And that's a Miitopia Nuzlocke with a lot of randomized shit. I would have loved for a deathless run, but I guess I underestimate my stupidity sometimes. This run was fun as hell until I reached the Traveler's Hub. I was always excited to see what hand I got dealt every single time, and I highly recommend this run to anyone. It can be really easy like mine, or you can get some hell of an entertaining run with some shit jobs. I liked making this video less cinematic than the other 2 Nuzlocks I've done. Sure, there was the clock bit, but that's about it. If you want to watch my team draws and Dark Lord fight, the playlist will be linked down below in the description. So yeah, that's the end. Thanks for watching, peace.